Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today, long distance bolts take on long range shafts as Target331, playing as the Khmer or Khmer in blue, prepares to take on Survivalist, playing as the Incas in red. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate enclosed off surroundings because we find ourselves on Arena today, destroy all unnecessary gates and walls and try to get their butts up, most likely to Castle Age ASAP. Not a bad opportunity for us to take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Now, the Khmer are a civilization that focuses on some of the heaviest hitting units in the game. Their Scorpions come with extra range and can be upgraded to shoot a second bolt. Their battle elephants move faster than normal and can be upgraded to hit even harder with a +3 attack. And their unique unit is quite possibly one of the hardest and most annoying units to deal with head on, especially if they can get all clumped up nice and good. The ballista elephant, which, as it sounds, is an elephant unit with a pretty much giant ballista mounted on its back, which, by the way, like the Khmer Scorpion, can be upgraded to shoot a second bolt as well. Now, in order to take advantage of these bonuses, these upgrades, these very powerful units, the Khmer have to get their butts up to Castle and Imperial ASAP with a lot of food in the bank. So to help them do this, they do come with some of the wonkiest features in the entire game. And yes, wonkiest is in fact the clinical term. Target's deer being incredibly stubborn today. To start with, the Khmer do not need any structures to go up to the next age. So as long as Target gets 500 food, you'll notice underneath at the top left, underneath his Roman numeral 1, there are no two houses like Survivalist has, because once you have 500 food, 800, 200, 1,800, whatever age you want to reach next, you can immediately click up. Now, second, once you're in an age, all buildings from that age are available to you. There is no such thing as a prerequisite. So, for example, you want to build a siege workshop, you don't need a blacksmith. You want to build a stable, you don't really need a barracks. Lastly, Khmer farmers, they don't need to bring food to a mill or a town center. As long as the farmer is working on the farm, it automatically adds food to the Khmer stockpile. So their farms can basically be built anywhere they want. You could build a farm up here with no mill or town center anywhere in the immediate vicinity if Target331 even wanted to. Now, lastly, their villagers, the Khmer villagers, are much harder to raid because if they come under attack, if they sense even the faintest scent of danger, they can garrison inside houses, and once that danger has passed, they can ungarrison and basically get back to work. I don't know what else they would be doing if not going straight back to work, such as the life of a villager in Age of Empires. Now let's take a look at someone who might want to kill some of the villagers of Target. We've got Survivalist playing as the Incas, the quintessential counter civilization. Is your opponent going cavalry or perhaps mounted units? Well, the Incas can rely on their first unique unit, the Kamyuk, a ranged infantry unit that carries a very long shafted spear and comes with a massive attack bonus against mounted units, including, by the way, a massive +20 against elephants. If your opponent's going to go infantry, well, you can rely on your second unique unit, the Slinger. This is an archer unit that comes with a pretty big attack bonus against infantry. Think a hand cannoneer level attack bonus, which can be upgraded to get a small +1 attack boost. And if your opponent is going ranged units, well, you can rely on your skirmishers, which not only come with all archery range, blacksmith, and university upgrades, but can also be upgraded to have no minimum range whatsoever, which does take away one of their biggest weaknesses. Now, to make the Incan army last a little bit longer on the battlefield, no, they don't get Pervitin, no, they don't get Viagra. What they do get are fabric shields, basically an upgrade that adds a +1 melee, +2 pierce armor boost to all of their Kamyuks, their slingers, and their eagle warriors. Ooh, saw a bit of an attack. It is, in fact, just the boar attacking the villager. Now, in order to build and support their military-industrial complex, the Incas do come with a slew of very powerful bonuses and features themselves. To start with, all of their military units cost less and less food as the game goes on. Right now, 10% cheaper in Dark Age, all the way up to 25% cheaper in Imperial. They do start the game, for those eagle-eyed viewers who saw it underneath the town center, with a free drama llama. Their buildings cost 15% less stone. Their houses support 10 population instead of the usual 5, which does free up a little bit more wood in the early stages of the game for military, although that probably more applicable on an open map like Arabia, for example, as opposed to a map like this. And their villagers, not exactly Spanish supremacy villagers, but man, oh man, can they be difficult to take down, because starting in the Castle Age, they get the benefits of all infantry blacksmith upgrades, both attack and defense, attack and armor, whatever you want to call it. And by the way, if you see the top right of your screen, the Incas get all infantry blacksmith upgrades. Those are the two really cool civilizations we've got before us. I am very excited, not only because these are two players that have a special place in the heart of yours truly, Target331, for, let's say, more selfish reasons. If you haven't seen the short of him with his ridiculous Noah's Ark Borple from about a year ago, it is my most popular short. He managed to basically pull a whole bunch of animals into the meat grinder, and there you go. There is the Khmer. I was going to say Khmer farm, and my brain combined it into Khmer. Probably should have that looked into at some point. My combination of words, or maybe I should just get more sleep. Who knows? But Target331, selfishly, I always like to watch his games because, like I said, you never know when he's going to pull some kind of maneuver or stunt, whatever you want to call it. Well, Survivalist, a fellow Canadian who, I mean, Captain Sunglasses, as somebody once called him on the channel, and he is always fun to watch. I have never seen anyone as calm and collected as he is. When he clicks his unit right and the unit goes left, there is no tantrum that is thrown. There is just, you know, disappointment in the game. I feel like I'm being a little too dramatic. But anyway, these are two very fun players, very cool players. Survivalist off the back of 26 villagers is going up about 50 seconds, let's say 49 seconds behind his opponent, because Target has amassed a massive 1 whole second of idle time, and there is that ridiculous Khmer fast castle. He's already clicking up at the 11-minute mark of the game to the third and penultimate age, the Castle Age. And take a look. Do you see any prerequisites? I don't see nothing except the resources he needed. And so Morley Games actually has a very cool build for knights if you want to improve, or if you want to basically just fast castle your ass on the ranked ladder. Definitely check out Morley Games, Morley. Super fun channel, super cool guy. And he has a amazing build order for the Khmer, the Khmer, where pretty much, I mean, Target is, I don't know if he followed it to a T, but he's going to hit Castle Age at the 13:30 minute mark of the game, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a little bit after, 13:35, 13:36. And with the stable out, he is, we might see knights. And remember, as cool as the Kamayuk is, as much as I want to see it, generally the Incas, before they can get a castle up, because it is a unique unit that can only be trained from a castle, as opposed to, for example, the Slinger, which can be pumped out of an archery range, generally eagles are the way to go for the Incas against any kind of cavalry. Now, the interesting thing is Survivalist is playing it very close to the vest right now. He's seen 1, 2, 3 relics. Which ones has he not seen? Oh, I feel like there's literally one right here, and then there's someone right there. I'm assuming that's the relic, not the crocodile. Yeah. So he hasn't seen the one literally closest to him, and the one literally second or third furthest away from him compared to this one. Whereas our Khmer has seen 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, has not seen this one. Okay, pair of eagles. Actually, not a pair. A trio of eagles are out. Remember, currently in the Feudal Age, which is where Survivalist finds himself, there are no attack bonuses for these units. Oh my goodness, my clicking skills. Right now, they're at all a bunch of zeros, except, of course, for monks. Surprisingly, siege. Okay. Maybe if you ever face Cuman aggression, you can take down the rams a little bit quicker in the Feudal Age. But in now, I was going to say in a few seconds, but now, take a look. All of a sudden, Camel 1, Cavalry 2, ship, which I don't think we're going to see unless the Volga boatman somehow portage a ship from off screen. Not really going to come in very relevant, but man, eagles, and I guess fishing ships as well. Who's kidding who? Both players in the Castle Age. 1 extra TC for our Khmer, 2 extra TCs for our Inca. Beautifully placed town center here to the rear. Beautifully placed town center here off to the stone. Now, what you want to see, I should have mentioned earlier on in the game, is where are your internal resources and how easily are they lameable, or how easily do they come under attack? For example, if Survivalist sees that there's both the primary stone and the secondary gold of his opponent literally within, what is this, 6 7 tiles of one another, this is probably a good place for him to put on some aggression. By the way, one monk comes out, sees a bunch of eagles, cowers, runs away, and now Survivalist still hasn't seen all of the relics, and someone somewhere is returning home with one of those relics. It is in fact Target331 who gets the first relic of the game, as here we go, the first battle of the game, first blood drawn by an eagle. But not a free get. Kill count 5-3 right now, as the eagles absolutely slaughter that, and they're going after the monk. So as bad as the trash loss is, the monk is a little bit more sour, but at the end of the day, militarily 6 kills to 6, except Survivalist has 1 extra, I guess you can call it a military unit. The monks are always a bit of a interesting unit to classify, in my opinion. I know they're technically classified as military units because they do have a military function of, you know, converting units, healing units, but are they purely military, really? I'll leave that up to the chat to decide. Interesting placement of a TC. I thought maybe he would place it here. I believe he does have 4 tiles, right? Yeah, I think he could have fitted here. In any event, not going to question where Target's putting his TC, as he now continues to bring home the relics. Survivalist, having lost all of his eagles, needs to rebuild, going up to a second barracks. Does have a 1 villager lead. Idle time for Survivalist, about 3 minutes. Although, keep in mind, that's the cumulative of 3 town centers. So as I was mentioning, if Survivalist knows that these 2 piles of scarce resources are right here, and by the way, the extra gold, because in the arena, if you're not familiar, everyone starts with 2 patches outside their initial settlement. 1 patch of stone, 1 patch of gold. For Survivalist, his gold. Oh, and stone. Now this, interesting. Usually the stone would spawn here. By the way, what is going on with this map? It looks like a nice green lush map inside the bases, and then it looks like a big old swamp or a toilet overflowed all over the rest of the map. Not too sure why it's so gross and swampy looking. But in any event, both of Survivalist's outdoor resources are next to one another, and he's going to lose a few more scouts if he's not careful. These are now, by the way, no longer scout units for our Khmer. They are now light cavalry, but Target's housed. Oh, he's going to be housed for a while. He just now is starting to build a house, which I believe is 25 seconds. So he's going to be housed for a good amount of time. By the way, Survivalist also housed. But he is housed at 65, so a little bit in a better position, but also just now starts building house, although with 2 villagers should cut the construction time down a little bit. His eagles are still scouts, are still upgradeless. Where are his internal resources? We saw the stone and the gold to the side and rear, an extra patch of gold. So, for example, now Blue is going to see this, and he's going to probably know if I'm going to be aggressive, might want to push into this side. Although, to be fair, there are all these extra patches of resources. So I'm really curious to see who's going to be aggressive, says the caster, as Survivalist indicates his desire to be aggressive with a very forward siege workshop here. You know, you can only play Huang on the ranked ladder so many times like Survivalist does. Pretty much every time he live streams, there's at least 5 games against Huang before you start adapting a Huang-like strategy of a very aggressive siege workshop. Although not exactly early Castle Age. Ooh, villager sees the units, including a converted eagle, immediately backs away. It looks like the monk is trying to convert a crocodile. I don't know how well that's going to go for him. Scout to the top has died. Eagle should, yeah, gets the monk as well. And now Survival is taking a bit of a breather, building a house. Target has seen the house. Does have 1 eagle. There are 11 now out for Survivalist. Upgrades still non-existent. So he is going very much for quantity right now. Has he seen? He still hasn't seen, by the way, that there are 2 resource patches into here. But we'll see what kind of a siege unit comes out of here. Maybe with that line of sight that siege comes with, he'll be able to see a bit more. Target's going to discover this. But there's not too much that he's going to be able to do with a half-dead light cavalry unit. And now these should be eagle warriors in a few seconds. Wheelbarrow for our Inca, who is ahead 3 villagers. Both players climbing nicely economically, so I'm anticipating a nice big clash between them. Neither player having the stone for a castle, but Target's a little bit closer with 9 villagers and 600 to Survivalist 300. Survivalist did initially lay out an extra 100 for his TC, whereas Target then caught up and placed a bunch of stone into this investment. More houses. As the Khmer, not a bad idea to have houses around your farms, so that if you're ever under attack, you can just garrison your villagers inside the houses and then run away. The only caveat I'll say to that is that when you garrison villagers inside houses, they don't regenerate HP. So be very wary if you put a 5 HP villager and you pop him out 10 minutes later. Let's say you forgot about him. He's still gonna have 5 HP and pretty much die the second you pop him out. There we go. First castle of the game for our Khmer, who is going up to 8 knights. Okay. 8 knights and 2 extra stables. Should do a pretty damn good job. Now, the Eagle Warrior bonus against cavalry does jump up from 1-2 to 2-3. Camel cavalry, that is. And here we go. Scorpion to the back is down. Eagle Warriors are about to get slaughtered here by light cavalry, but inside the base, looks like they are taking a much better fight as one of the 3, 4, 5 stables is about to fall. Count with me, ladies and gentlemen, as I discover the game right as you do as well. There's now a 5th being rebuilt here to the back. But a decent hold from our Khmer. Never great to lose 1-on-1 against Eagles, especially Incan Eagles, which, remember, now that we're in Castle, I believe should be 20% cheaper in terms of food costs, although food is not really the main cost of the Eagle, right? It's mostly the 50 gold, I believe, that they cost. The 25 food is not really that terrible, unless my numbers are completely wrong and I have completely bungled that up. Target moves out. Target takes a not great fight, but spotting wise, mission accomplished. Has seen that a castle is going up, and we've got our first ballista elephant out on the field. Uh-oh, Incan castle's up immediately. A Kameyuk. Okay. Let's freaking see it. Target has rewalled his base safely. Another battering ram being trained. Ballista elephant slowly waddling. Now remember, to convert this unit, even though technically it does have siege armor, you do not need redemption. This is a very weird, wonky unit. Like I said, the Khmer Khmer, probably the wonkiest. Them and the Burgundians, I would say, probably the wonkiest among the wonkiest civs, if not the wonkiest civ. And one of those wonky things is that even though it is a siege unit, technically, you do not need redemption to convert it. And the Eagles are just going to get absolutely swarmed here, but in comes some Kameyuks. Attack bonus against cavalry +8. Even with bloodlines, even with 120 HP, what is 8? 6% of your HP falling just as bonus damage. And Imperial Age is en route for our blue Khmer, who now is pivoting his attention to the siege as he pulls out a few villagers to try to mine some of his external gold. How's the I love this from Target. I say this so many times to anyone who will listen. If you have an opportunity to mine the resource you need from a riskier location first, you go for that riskier location, because now take a look at this. Even though Survivalist does seem like he's going to push Target off of this gold, Target will have acquired a few hundred, if not maybe close to 500 gold from here, which he would have depleted internally, which now he has 500 extra gold inside of his base to help defend him against this push. So always do your best to take the riskier resources first. That's just my opinion, of course. Where's the ballista? Okay, so he's waiting to for permission. Oh, that's so sour for Survivalist. Ballista elephants, by the way, the only unit in the Castle Age that can cut through a forest. If you're wondering why I said that is very sour for Survivalist, because this ballista elephant technically can bust its way into the base. That's so annoying that the wall doesn't extend to the end of the map, and Survivalist doesn't have any idea that this elephant unit is here. He hasn't even explored this part of the map. By the way, 4 relics to 0. Neither player making any effort to... Oh, neither player... Have they not seen the relic? Neither player has seen the 5th relic. They must both assume that the other one has it. But in reality, it is our Khmer who has a little bit of extra gold. He's in Imperial, immediately Cavaliers. How many stables does he have now? I think I also saw Scorpion out. So remember, their Scorpions automatically come with +1 range. And if you add Siege Engineers to that, 9 range. One of the best counters to infantry is a nice big clump, a nice big mass of scorpions. Although for now, relying more on his trebuchets to knock this castle down. A very aggressive castle from Survivalist, who, again, I'm a little surprised is not continuing to take this gold, although I guess if he did try, the Trebs would gun down the mining camp. Well, that would give more longevity to his castle, so maybe he should do that. In any event, he is mining his external, let's call it neutral gold. Although I suspect it's because his gold inside is starting to really dwindle. He's got only one full patch, and then maybe a second that's kind of full, whereas our Khmer still has a juicy gold here. Not that juicy over here, but he's about to be able to mine over here. Ooh, not just yet. What a lucky villager. What a lucky SOB. Taking a castle shot to literally to the back as he runs away, and then surviving to tell the tale in here. Come, the Khmer Cavaliers. Nothing particularly special about this unit. Ballista Elephant still. I don't know what he's doing. What do elephants think about? Peanuts? I guess on the lookout for mice. Survivalist has loaded his infantry, a band of eagles, a convocation of eagles and Kamayuks, a whole ragtag infantry army here. He is ahead 20 army count. Target is housed. Survivalist is housed. Unfortunately for Target, Survivalist is housed 35 population ahead of him. They're going to see the castle going up. Upgrades. Armor-wise, fantastic. Attack-wise, terrible for our Khmer, who only has forging at the moment. And there's elite Kamayuk, there's capped ram, there's some armor for the infantry units as well. Did Survivalist get fabric shields? No, he hasn't gotten fabric shields yet. So remember, fabric shields will add basically to this entire army. Who's getting who? Eagles, slingers, and Kamayuks. We'll get 1 extra melee, 2 extra pierce. And that extra pierce does help a little bit against the Scorpion. It does remove about 15% of the Scorpion's damage. Survivalist splits up his army. Let's see it. That's a huge forest of Kamayuks moving forward, and he is going after the Scorpions. Of course he is. And here we go. The battle is joined. Survivalist, where are you going now? He's just running his eagles around while the Kamayuks do the real death dealing here to the Cavaliers, and they close in yet again. You need more Scorpions for our Khmer if he wants to hold against such an anti-cavalry push. They do get the heavy Scorpions, so I'm not too sure why he's still stuck on regular Scorpions, except maybe the lack of gold. And by the way, had he not gotten that extra 500-600 gold here, right now our blue Khmer would be broker than he is already with 69 gold in the bank. Getting a hand cart now, just so he can catch up with our Inca. And let's see what he can accomplish here. This push is kind of stalling out for Survivalist. And our Khmer, for the second time, has actually held. Absolutely impressive hold here at a target. Now, he is losing the more expensive units. Who's kidding who? But at the end of the day, more importantly, he has held. He's rebuilding his infrastructure. This is absolutely epic. This is absolutely epic gameplay out of both of these players. And this is exactly why I wanted to cast this game. This civ, this map, these players. So many farmers in the back, not dropping anything off. And let's see what Survivalist is doing. He's preparing wave number 3 of the Incan push here. He's getting Blast Furnace, and I just saw Siege Ram as well. By the way, remember, we're past Castle Age, so if I were to click one of these Incan villagers, take a look at their armor now that the has plate mail armor and iron casting. Look at these stats on a villager. Now, with Blast Furnace, which he's getting now, it will take their attack up to a 3+4. Not exactly the +6 of a Spanish Supremacy villager, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, their armor is actually better. I think Supremacy just adds +2/+2. Now that he has all the armor upgrades, it's actually a lot more than that. Basically +3/+4. That being said, also Supremacy. I mean, Supremacy, obviously the better upgrade with 40 extra HP, 6 extra attack compared to 4. But look at the stats on a freaking villager. Eagle tries to get some damage, gets 1 villager, bites the dust. And now the Ballista Elephant is here. you gotta love Survivalist knowing that rams do bonus damage against siege units, and because this unit has siege armor, it takes bonus damage from a ram plus 65. Game knowledge at its finest, and there we go. Do I see double crossbow? I do not. But what I do see is a bunch of heavy scorpions with 8 range. Ram to the bottom is going to bust its way in. There's literally nothing here to stop it. Even 1 cavalier would be enough, but they're all engaged here to the north. Oh, what a clump of Kameyuks, just perfect for scorpion bolts. Target's not paying attention here to the south. The ram is dying, but very, very slowly. And now the ram in the center is closing in on the scorpions. Castle to the north has fallen. Castle to the south is safe, but now Kameyuks are going to insert themselves to the rear here. And for time number 3, our Khmer is held yet again. But look at the populations. He's down, what is that, 40 population? And now he's got to deal with a whole bunch of Kameyuks to the rear. Now, they may not be the strongest of unit when it comes to raiding. 8+2 basically makes it just a little bit stronger than Hussar. But you know what's the most annoying thing about that unit when you're raiding with it? Cavalry can't kill it. Especially not light cav. Especially not light cav. They just cannot compete. Now that attack bonus, look at this, jumps up to +12. Oh, Mameluke level attack bonus on an infantry unit. That doesn't cost anything anywhere near what a Mameluke costs, by the way. Only 30 gold. And the usual 60 food, I think, for infantry units. Ouch, 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 ouch. Bit by bit, piece by piece. Survivalist rips the Khmer base. All it took was, ooh, what do we want to call it? 3.5 pushes? The first push was admittedly a little weak. Second push did a good amount of damage, but was rebuilt. The settlement was rebuilt afterwards. Third push, he didn't quite have an opportunity to rebuild. And so the Kameyuks have inserted themselves in here. And like I said, you see all the dead horsey units on the dance floor? Not the strongest unit, but man, is it annoying to deal with when the Kameyuk raids. +12 attack bonus against this unit. Ugh, absolutely gross. And now a castle here to the north. He's laming the stone mining operations of our Inca. And Survivalist didn't get, you know, if at first you don't succeed, try, and maybe a half a try again. Again, let's I'm not sure what to classify that, whether this is the continuation of the third push, or if this is a 3.5 or a 4th push. But doesn't really matter. Let's not get too bogged down, he says, as he's getting bogged down. Let's take a look at the stats, because that was a really fun game. 153 Kameyuks to Cavaliers. Who's kidding who? For the majority of the game, they were Cavaliers. Scorpions, I'm surprised, didn't do more damage. But again, with the base breached, maybe I'm not so surprised. Who's kidding who? Light Cav to support, Eagles and Rams to crush through everything. Peak APM quite low at the beginning of the game here for Target. Also not the most rushed APM for Survivalist. Oh my goodness, basically a minute ago. Okay, so that's Survivalist microing to the rear of the base, quarry laming, and forward pushing as well. But look at just the armies. I mean, forget the army count. Look at the armies. You got siege rams, trebs, and the shaftiest shaft in the shafty game, the Kameyuk, just running amok. And Target does have a decent amount of wood and gold, but and enough stone for another castle. Maybe a defensive castle would have helped. Maybe somewhere here or here. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do with a castle against siege rams, trebs, and anything that tries to snipe you? Well, this guy pops out and just absolutely rickety wrecks everything that you have. Let's take a look at the stats themselves. Survivalist at the end of the day with a bigger economy, about 4,000. Almost exactly 4,000 more resources, even though Target did acquire 3,000 gold. Again, I'm assuming Blue still hasn't seen the relic here. Yeah, he hasn't seen the relic here, and I'm assuming because Red hasn't gathered it. Oh my goodness, he still hasn't seen it. Literally one tile away. That is sour. But let's take a look at the actual numbers, because I saw food for the Khmer, no surprise there, with their drop-off feature not required. A little bit more wood, a little bit more gold, and what is that, about 2.5 castles worth of stone. So the economic difference, not exactly the greatest. I mean, if you remove the relic gold, it all of a sudden looks very bad. More than 10, 15, maybe 12, 13%, but without it, less than 10%. 3 conversions out of 242 is basically 1%. 19 raisings to 6 is what you would expect from a player who was pushing in. But more importantly, let's take a look at the end. Oh my goodness, 43 villager kills to 4, and the kill count about 10% apart. That just shows you how bloody and how contested this push, or I should say these pushes, these multiple 3 to 4 pushes are from our Inca. But at the end of the day, wow, what a fun game. I'm trying to think what meat shield our Khmer could have in front of the Scorpions to help tank against these Kameyuks, because like the Steppe Lancer, their attack is kind of weak. And like the Steppe Lancer, its main, I shouldn't say main, but probably one of the main selling points of this unit for sure is their stackability. And so what do you do as the Khmer? You do have hand cannoneers, I guess, that come with a +10 attack bonus against infantry units. You don't really get champions. Your infantry line is absolutely terrible. Your archer line is not bad, but with 6 pierce armor, you did get fabric shields at the end of the day. Okay, not a cheap upgrade. 600, 600. Maybe if he had double crossbow, it would have helped against these infantry units. But I feel like the main draw, what am I looking for? The main weakness of the Khmer defenses was the fact that he had just been breached. And now that he's been breached, the Incas with their ridiculous food discount, now 25% cheaper food on all of their units. Not that any of these units cost that much food. Even the Kameyuk, which as I mentioned is normally 60 food, now it's 45 food, I guess. Wow, what an absolute fun game. An annoying rate to the back that, again, the Khmer is not going to win this battle. 2 Kameyuks with their attack bonuses are going to slaughter these and then just go along their merry way. So like I said, they're not going to kill the villagers very quickly. They only have 6 villager kills here, and they've been in the back for a few minutes, but they're going to be really annoying to deal with. And Target realizes he's been breached to the rear. He's lost control of his stone. Not that he really needs stone. He has enough for another castle, but more importantly, he's lost control of the map, and he's lost control of the gold patch to the north. He's lost control of the gold patch that was here. Now he's going to lose control of this gold patch. And without gold, the Khmer just, I mean, they do have decent hussars, and with the farming bonus that they have, even though I believe technically the farmers do work 5% slower so that they're not like super duper steroid farmers and just become super unfair for the rest of 44 civilizations. I don't think he can spam in hussars against this. I mean, this is pretty much the anti-hussar unit on the field of battle. And with that unit, and with the multiple pushes, the tenacity, the just perseverance in the push, it is Survivalist, our Inca in red, who in a very fun matchup, lots and lots of death and mayhem and destruction, almost 500 kills in a 45-minute game, is pretty fun to watch. Survivalist breaches the base after a number of attempts, takes the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.